Hey again, it's Christina from Sunshine and Flora. So first off, I want to apologize for not posting a video in a while. Fall is such a busy time, not only in the garden trying to end the season, prep for the next season, but also with my photography studio. I have been shooting constantly for days and finally have a work day today. And so I'm going to be working on these dried flowers in the video and a couple other things that I want to share from you. But hopefully from now on, I will have a more regular schedule. Anyway, dried flowers, that is what I am working on today. So if you guys have been watching my video for quite some time, you know we are developing the next door building into a retail space. And one of the things that I want to sell in there is dried flower bundles. Now I'm going to have an array of things in there for gifts and then in-season cut flowers. But at the end of the season, I always still have a lot of things in the garden and I kind of neglect it every year and don't dry it like I should. So that is one of the things I really want to work on this year. In fact, I already have a bunch of status bundled and these were laying flat. Can you tell how flat that is there? I really should have had these hanging, but these might not be their final bundles, but these are pretty much dry. And can you believe how well Status maintains their color? I mean, it looks the same as it was fresh. This is the deep blue, I think. I just have, I don't know, 10 or so stems bundled together. So I have quite a few of the deep blue, and then I have a few bundles of the white. The white dries okay. It's not as vibrant. It looks a little more faded, but it's still really pretty. So, one of my goals is to actually hang these up or get these packaged up so that they are protected till I'm ready to use them. I'm going to do that today. And then while I'm doing that, I want to show you some that I dried last year and how that looks. But what I really want to work on is I have some buckets on the floor here next to me that is freshly picked out of the garden. We need to bundle those up, and I'm going to show you where those are going to be hanging and drying for a few weeks or however long it takes. So let me set these down. We're going to get started on the ones I have. So the first bucket in front of me is this cell waste celosia, and you're probably wondering, well, why do you have that big plastic container? Well, celosia, when it dries, drops seeds like crazy. And where I am hanging these, I want to have this under it so this catches the seeds. Not that I'm going to save all the seeds because I've already saved a whole bunch of celosia seeds. I just don't want it making a mess. So we're just going to make some bundles and then I'm going to show you how and where I'm going to hang these up. Now they're in a little bit of water. So they probably still look a little fresh. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to remove any branches that are really tiny and then all these leaves. But this one you can see has quite a few stems on it. I'm going to keep it as that stem. So I think I'm going to try and leave all of those, but these leaves, they just need to go because I don't know that those will preserve like the blooms do. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to leave a few of the leaves. So there is my stem. Now, one of these is really too far gone. So I'm going to carefully throw this away. This one has definitely gone to seed. I can see the seeds, and this is probably the one that's giving me all the seeds all over the floor already. I'm going to just get rid of that one. So last year I grew the Selway celosia. I grew a mix, but I am pretty sure if you were to want this color to buy on your own, I think it's something like Ruby Parfait. Comment below if that is correct. Now some of these are just a little bit short. I don't know that I'm going to be going to the trouble of saving those short stems. Oh my goodness, look at this one. So I literally went out to my garden and just cut the whole plant off because I thought we were going to get a hard freeze and we didn't, and I just wanted to save as much as possible. All right, so I have my first bundle ready to go. Isn't that so pretty? I'm really interested to see how this dries and how much it holds the color. So this is going to be really simple. I'm just going to rubber band the end, and that's going to hold all the stems together. And then for now, I'm just gonna set it in my plastic container. And then from there, I will take some string or some hooks when I get into the other room, and it's going to hang from the rubber band over this plastic bucket so the seeds can fall in here, and that's it. And then once these are dry, I'll be able to take them apart and piece them together. Now, ideally, I would probably be pre-making these bouquets, and when they're dry, I just put paper around them and then I don't have to kind of take things apart. But because I already have some saved there, some saved from before, that's the way I'm just gonna have to do it this year. I actually would really like next year when I'm planning ahead to sell fresh to dry bouquets, like even at markets, where you can buy, say, a bouquet that has Celosia status and straw flower in it, or Gomphrena. And those bouquets you can enjoy fresh, but then from there you take it right out of the vase, hang it upside down, and then it dries and you have the same bouquet, but dried and preserved. So that's an idea for next year. Let me grab a bucket of status. We'll do that next. All right, so this is also currently in water. I have a couple stems of purple, but I know I have some more out in the garden. And these honestly are looking a little bit past their prime. I think I'm just gonna get rid of them, and I will go and pick a whole bunch of fresh stems in the garden. But these still look pretty good for white. So I'm gonna put them together like that. Maybe cut an even end on them. Not that that totally matters. And then we'll rubber band these up real quick too. Now I have some other Celosia down here that I think are the Flora varieties. I want to try and bundle those quick. Now the other thing I went out into the garden and picked, which I have never harvested for bouquets before. These are from Penstemon. These are the seed pods, and they are from my Midnight Masquerade Penstemon. I harvested these last week because I was thinking about using them in a fall funeral bouquet. But then as I was sitting and putting the bouquet together, or the arrangement, I started smelling this smell like old feet. And it was these. These had a smell. They don't have a smell anymore, probably because they're dry now, but they had a smell, so I didn't use them. But these are so cool that I thought, I'm gonna dry them. So I'm gonna bundle these together. Let me cut fresh ends. And I think there's some more of these out in the garden too. All right, so we are gonna see how those dry. All right, this is a really sad bucket of Celosia, and I don't know if I can even use these. The water dried up. I wonder if you know what, I might just pitch these. Maybe they'll be okay. See how they're like that? I don't know if they'll come out of that. But I do have a few stems. Like this is a Flora variety. I would like to try to save these. So I think I'm just gonna pull out those that look okay and just bundle a few of these together. And we'll see what they look like. Oh, this yellow one still looks pretty good. So if you haven't heard, which I have been hearing from you guys, the viewers, and on Instagram, that Flora is not selling their seed for next year. I don't know if that's just for zinnias or if that is for everything, but I loved their seeds. I almost loved the Celosia seed more than I loved the zinnia seed. So I tried to save a bunch of Celosia seed this year, and I will have to let you know how that turns out because I haven't saved a lot of Celosia seed to know like if it comes back very true or not. But I'm kind of hoping that that is the case, and then I will have some really pretty blooms for next year. The sherbet variety was definitely my favorite. I think that is what these are from. All right, not a huge bundle, but we're gonna see how those dry. All right, I'm gonna pitch this, and I think my last bucket I'm also gonna pitch because those are status that look like a little wilted. I think the secret, I was trying to save these and thought, oh, they would just sit there for a while and be okay because they can dry. Will they lose their shape? So I think the secret is to harvest it fresh and hang it immediately, or while it is still fresh in the vase. And that is how you really get the best shape for your dried flowers. That's what I'm kind of finding out. But if any of you watching this have dried lots of flowers, please comment down below with your tricks. All right, let's hop out to the garden. Let's harvest some statice. I also want to save a few more zinnia seeds, so let's gather some of those as well, and then I'll give you a tour of the other room where I already have some saved. All right, so here's a current look at my celosia patch. While there are a lot of beautiful blooms in here, the stems really aren't long enough to save for dried bouquets, unfortunately. I do have some nice Bells of Ireland flushing some new blooms, and a lot of the Selway celosia is the same way. It's the short little branches. I don't know if there's really anything in here I can use. I love this yellow variety. What I think I'm going to do, which will be more beneficial than trying to go through here to dry it, is see when our next frost is, and maybe some of this will end up going a little bit to seed, some of these shorter ones. And then I'll be able to harvest some more seed from it. I think that that is definitely more beneficial than me trying to cut any of these for drying stems. So let's leave this for now. I want to go over to the statice patch because I do think there is a lot to harvest there. Well, if there's anything that is doing good in the garden, it is the statice. Holy cow. There is quite a bit in here that I can cut to dry. And this will be very easy. All you do is you come in, you shred the bottom leaves, and I'll throw it in a pile. This is the same color of statice, the deep blue, that I already have bundled inside. So I'm really excited that there is a lot more out here in the garden. Statice is a cool flower, and so it likes the cool temperatures, but it also does really good in the heat. And we've been having some really warm weather. I'm talking this last weekend when I was doing all of my fall photo shoots. Sometimes there's been years when it's really cold or we've gotten snow. It was 86 this weekend when I was shooting. That is a little crazy for towards the end of October. Today it's in the 60s, I think, which is about our normal temperature here in Iowa. These are some great stems. I wish I had other flowers to go with these for bouquets, but everything has pretty much been eaten by bugs by now. All right, I'm just gonna work my way through this patch and see how many stems I can get, and then we'll go inside and bundle that. I also want to pop over here to the zinnias and show you how I pick my zinnias for saving seed. All right, so I'm over in the zinnia patch. I wanna save some of these Flora zinnias, but first of all, check out this really pretty bunch of statice I just got. There's some of the fuchsia in there, which I haven't collected any of the fuchsia to dry yet. So I think that is really pretty. And I actually might put these together in mixed color bundles. I just love that. So the zinnias, this is a patch of zinnias. I think there's only like 3 rows in here. This is between my snapdragons and my dahlias. I had a little extra space that I basically just wanted to try to fill to use the space. And so this little patch of zinnias gave me a lot of blooms this season. But there are some really pretty varieties in here. In fact, this one I think might be Alpenglow. A lot of these were singles, and I think maybe that is what a lot of Alpenglow is. I personally like the doubles, but I do enjoy this color. These are not blooms that I want to save for seed. I need to have blooms that are further along than this. The other ones that I also want to look at saving are these really huge poofy ones. And honestly, I don't even know what these are. I don't think these are Dawn Creek. I don't know if these are Victorian Wedding. They start with a pale pink and then the underneath is almost like a lavender. I don't know, but they are really pretty. Now this bloom right here is starting to really dry and lose its petals. So this is one I'm gonna save because I think that there definitely should be seeds in there. I hope you guys can hear me okay. There's so much traffic on the highway, and also our elevator next door is running. So it's just noisy, but hopefully my microphone is picking me up okay. So I'm gonna clip this head. Here's another head that is almost completely dry. I'm gonna clip that. Now I have seen other flower farmers clipping some that maybe still have a lot of color. Like this one is huge and half dry and has a lot of color. I'm gonna clip it and see if I can get any seeds out of there. This one I feel like is still a little too fresh, but gosh, these are so pretty. If I could only grow zinnias and get them to be huge and enormous, like the Benneries, but in different colors, which I think is Florette's goal, I would grow these all day long. All right, let me pan over. There's a few over here, which I think these are the Victorian wedding that I want to zoom in and show you guys. I'm going to set these aside so I don't step on them. All right, I'm hoping I'm in frame for you guys, but can you see this flower right here? It is definitely about half the size of a Benneries Giant, but it has so many layers. I think this might be the Victorian wedding. Here is another peachy one right here. Again, smaller, but it is not my Oklahoma salmon. In fact, here's what my Oklahoma salmon looks like. And here's what this one looks like. This is definitely a lighter yellowish, peachier apricot. I love this color. So I want to find, here is a poofy bloom that is completely dried. I'm going to put this in my stash because there has got to be seeds in there. And here's one that is really dry. I'm going to save that. And then let's try to pick a couple that maybe aren't as dry to see how they are for seeds. What do you guys do? Do you wait until they are completely dry like this on the plant? Or do you harvest them when they are partially dry? I really would like to save some of this alpenglow, but I don't see any blooms that are really dry on this. Every plant can be so different, which I think is what is so exciting about saving all of these seeds. Now, if I were really going through here and being tedious, I would have cups and I would put every little variety and photograph it and number the cups, but I'm just kind of throwing them all together. Then I think next year I will have one dedicated patch that will be all of the seed that I saved to just experiment and see what treasures I find. All right, I want to grab a couple more. I got to keep on task. Then we're going to go back inside and wrap some bundles. I am going to take this one that is partially dry. Oh no. I almost lost the one that was completely dry. And then this one. Here's one that is partially dry. Okay, time to head inside. Okay, so I'm back inside. First, I'm going to bundle some of this status together, and then we're going to go hang everything up. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of each color, mix it up, and then maybe I will already have a bouquet that I don't have to disassemble and put back together again. Boy, some of these purple ones are just enormous. All right, I think that that's a really pretty bundle. I did 2 stems of blue, 2 stems of the pink, and 2 stems of the white. All right, so I got 3 more bundles of the status. I'm gonna grab this and let's go carry it in and hang it up. I'll show you where all of that is going on. All right, so this is my framing / storage room in my photography studio. It will go back to being a really nice framing room when I'm able to move everything over to the other location. But for right now, I'm going to use this table and this shelf as a way to hang my dried flowers. So right here, I have a few flowers I've already been drying. This is a cup that has a really cool pink fan, or it was a fan-shaped celosia that I got from a flower friend. And she gave it to me in her U-Pick cup, and it has a whole bunch of seeds in there. So I'm just letting it finish drying. I'm going to save these. I'm going to plant that next season. But you can see on the table here, I have a bunch of zinnia heads already drying. So the ones that I picked today, I'm just going to add to this pile. Ideally, and maybe this is what I'll be able to do next year when I have a whole grow space in that basement of that building, is to have some screens and set these out on screens or drying racks while they can get ventilation from the bottom. But for now, I just have them on this paper sack and it's working fine. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this light and I'm going to hang the flowers from here, maybe with some string and some tape so they hang down into the bucket. so that if any seeds drop, which is mainly going to be from the celosia, it goes into here. And then I will just let them dry for however long they need to dry. Again, this is not the most amazing place to do this, but it is what I have at the moment. Okay, there they are, all hung and ready to dry. So I have a few other boxes of some dried flowers saved, but I wanted to just show you a couple of my favorites that I have left from last year. One of the things last year I decided to do was just pop the heads off of straw flowers and then save them by laying them flat in a container. And these are things that I can use in dried flower craft projects, like if I'm making ornaments, or next year I hope to make some pumpkin decorations. So I have a bunch of these, and honestly, these straw flowers that are in the box that are dry, I don't know that I'll use these in bouquets. I may just go through here and pick the blooms off of these as well. Same with this gomphrena. This is pretty tattered, and I don't know that I would ever use that in a bouquet. I may just pluck these flower heads off and put them in with my straw flower, and I think that those would be the perfect little dried flower puffs that could go on a pumpkin. But two things that I really do like how they dried. This first one, and a couple of these I just need to throw away because they aren't looking the best, but look at how pretty this is. This is the flamingo feather celosia, and when you grow this out in the garden, it is a pale pink, purplish mauve color, but when it dries, it's a cream color. Isn't that amazing? Now, clearly mine is bent. I maybe didn't hang it long enough or something, but it is beautiful. So this is something I need to go out to my patch. I think all of it is too far gone, but for next year, I really need to make sure that I save some of this to dry because it's a beautiful color. The other thing that I really like, this is Nigella seed pods. These are not very tall, so I may be just cutting these off and using them for the top of pumpkins too, but bigger stems that I could dry that are longer, aren't those cool? I just think they're so fun. So there's a lot of kind of weird random things that you can save out of your garden. And oh my gosh, I just put one of these seed pod stems down and a whole bunch of seeds just fell out on my table. I got to grab an envelope to save those. How exciting. All right, I'm going to get this all cleaned up, but I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this video, just some things I'm doing to prep for the off season and next year. The next video that you may see is my hoop house. I'm going to clean it out and plant it, which I should have done 2 weeks ago, but you know how that goes. So anyway, stay tuned for a lot more yet this gardening season. I hope you're having a great fall, and we will see you soon.